Welcome to the interview. I'm your host, Jennifer Clyde. Now, I am here at the National Assembly of Korea to meet today's guest. Today's guest is Representative Jasmine Lee, the very first naturalized Korean to become a lawmaker. I am so excited to meet her. So come on and follow me. Let's take you inside.
Representative Jasmine Lee of the Saenuri Party, a member of the 19th National Assembly established in 2012. Her political career began when she joined a program which aimed to elect a migrant woman to office through marriage for a local council.
여성으로서 그리고 이제 다문화 가족이고 대가족으로서 대가족이고 게다가 이제 청소년 아이들을 둔 엄마로서의 마음을 가지고 여성가족위원회에 이제 함께 열심히 하겠습니다. 잘 부탁드리겠습니다.
Not everyone greeted her with open arms, but she was unrelenting. For 2 consecutive years, Assemblywoman Jasmine Lee was chosen for her outstanding work during government auditing by the National Assembly. The INNERview was there to meet her.
Okay, I think I'm at the right place. Yes. 자, 이자스민 의원. 모든 아동에게 차별 없는 세상을 위해. 와우. Fair trade. 딸들에게 희망을 국회 일터 나눔. 여기는 청소년 지킴이 국회의원 이자스민. So we are right here in front of Representative Jasmine Lee's office. So come on and follow me inside.
This is room 909 at the National Assembly Members Building. This is Assemblywoman Jasmine Lee's office, where she attends to her work with her assistants.
네, 들어오세요. 네, 안녕하세요.
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 의원님, 반갑습니다.
반갑습니다. 이자스민입니다.
네, 인터뷰에
네.
제니퍼 클라이드라고 합니다.
반갑습니다.
네.
들어오시죠.
네. 와우. 저 오늘 국회의사당에도 처음 와보고요.
아, 정말요?
네.
오.
와.
In Assemblywoman Jasmine Lee's private office, her activities and policymaking begin. The bookcase is filled with photos and books. They show how busy she has kept herself for the past 3 years.
굉장히 뭐가 많네요.
아, 일단 기본적으로 책하고 자료가 많을 겁니다. 왜냐하면 우리가 이제 상임위 이제 2년마다 바뀌기 때문에
네.
상임위 관련된 자료 처음보다 다 집어넣고 제가 처음 왔을 때 이게 동통 비었거든요.
아, 그래요?
그래서 이게 채울 수 있을까라는 고민을 했는데
다 채우셨네요.
채우고 나서도 그 밑에도 채우고 저쪽에 새롭게 또 다시 넣어가지고 자료밖에 없습니다. 네.
와.
아, 대부분이 여기 보시면은 이 다문화 가정 대상이 아마 가장 오래 했던데요.
네.
매년 좀 우리 사회에 굉장히 활발하게 활동을 하고 있는 그런 이주 여성이나 다문화 가정이나 아니면은 다문화 관련된 기관들의 활동을 수상을 하는 상을
그렇군요.
국회의원을 안 했으면은 이 상도 받았을 텐데 상금이 꽤 컸거든요. 상금이 굉장히 큽니다. 그래서 국회의원은 안 된답니다. 그래서 받고 국회의원 할 거라는 그런 생각까지 했는데.
This was all possible due to her efforts to help multicultural families.
의원님,
예,
한국어 정말 잘하시네요.
고맙습니다.
You sound Korean.
I am Korean.
You are Korean,
I am
actually,
Korean.
yes, but you
yes,
sound.
I am Korean. So when
She has many interesting stories to share, and time seems very limited. Let's listen to some of her stories.
This was a project by IOM, or the International Organization on Migration, and they're having this project, the Migrant Heroes, where they find a lot of migrant immigrants from all successful immigrants from all around the world, and asking them what migration means to them.
I see.
And for me, I chose trailblazing. Trailblazing. This is because a lot of people has been telling me about being a trailblazer in Korea. You know, being the one who starts to light the way, and hopefully I get to light the way all throughout. So for me, migration means beginning, because I am one of the first migrants of Korea, and it's beginning to for me, migration is a beginning of something good, I think, for Korea,
Right.
to light Korea's way to a more global Korea, hopefully. So this is my table, and hopefully I wanted to sit here the whole time before, but I realized that I will be a more effective member of the assembly if I am out in the field listening to a lot of people and meeting a lot of people. So this is an important part of me here in the assembly, and the most important part of this table is having my family with me.
Oh, your family with you. Oh, you've got a beautiful family.
That's my son and my daughter. They are the most important persons in my life, and they keep me going. And whenever I am having a difficult time, I just tend to just look at it and find comfort that I'm doing this for both of them. So yeah, that's the most important thing in this table, and that's something that I really would wanna show you much more than the awards.
Jasmine Lee was born in the Philippines. When she met her Korean husband in 1995 and became a mother of two, she decided to become a naturalized citizen of Korea. She became a TV personality after appearing in a program which led her to an acting career in film. After her husband passed away in an unfortunate accident in 2010, she decided to work to improve understanding of multicultural families for the sake of her children. From being a mother to a TV celebrity, and then a member of the National Assembly in Korea, Jasmine Lee will not cease until multiculturalism finds its foothold in Korea.
So, Representative Lee, I would like to begin our talk by asking you about how busy you've been keeping yourself these days. I understand that the government ministry audit by the National Assembly for 2005 recently ended. So, how busy have you been, and how are you spending your days these days?
Actually, this year the audit has been a lot longer than all the previous years. I think it's longer by about 8 or 9 days, because we're actually looking forward into proposing a bill, a revision for the employment permit system for the workers under the employment permit system. So we actually published a book that we actually gave to everyone out during the audit. And actually, I think this is the book.
Oh, I see.
It's called the Koyonghogaje Kunul, the shadows of being under the employment permit system. So we're trying to actually put this out, and this will contain a lot of revisions. This will contain a lot of the problems. Most of it are directly heard from the workers themselves and from those who are working with the workers themselves. So I think this is going to be a good book for everyone who's actually doing a lot of work regarding employment permit system and regarding the workers too. Hopefully, if there's one wish that I could do is to actually translate it to all the 15 languages for the employment
That would
permit
be
system.
great, actually.
Yeah. So hopefully you can get someone to sponsor it now.
Oh.
Sorry.
Hopefully that will happen.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you've still do have a lot on your plate. You have a lot to do, and you just mentioned that was probably for a bill proposal.
Yes.
Is there a reason why a revision is made at this point, or is being made at this point?
Yeah, actually, the employment permit system, this year is actually the 10th year of the employment permit system. And we are actually trying to look at the changes, because the employment permit system itself is actually a government system. It's a policy that is that was awarded by the UN as a very good one of the good policies made by the government.
I see.
The problem is that we're actually having a lot of human rights issues when the workers already are in Korea. We don't have any problems. Actually, the system is a very good system in trying to hire these workers from their countries and coming here to Korea. Now, the problems that arises once they are here in Korea, lots of blind spots that we actually have to go through. So actually, those are the blind spots that I will be taking upon in the upcoming revision. There will be 5 or 6 major points.
Oh, I see.
The employment permit system was implemented in 2007, which allowed legal employment of foreign workers by domestic companies. However, lack of understanding of migrant workers led to unnecessary grievances. National Assemblywoman Jasmine Lee released a report, Migrant Workers, which tried to resolve issues between employers and migrant workers. She implores in her report that migrant workers are not aliens, but partners. Please protect their rights to achieve a happy workplace.
There was a time when you received strong criticism. Now, this was when you brought a bill to the National Assembly. I believe it was a bill seeking to protect children's rights. Now,
Yes.
this was to protect children that were unable to attend school or children of unregistered. We're talking about migrants.
Undocumented migrants.
So, could you tell us a bit about that?
Now we have a lot of children here in Korea. Not only the children that we originally have, not only the children of multicultural families, but children of workers who come here to work, who makes a family and give birth to children,
Right.
or children of the refugees, or children who are lost in the middle. Like for example, you got married to a Korean, you had and then your husband actually did not acknowledge your kid, and then you actually divorced before you actually have a Korean citizenship, and the father will not acknowledge, or some sort. They are floating. We call them the floating kids. They don't have any. They are some of them are stateless.
It's very sad.
Yes. So we have a lot of those children. It's actually the very first bill in the assembly with 10,000 comments or 10,000 clicks in the assembly system itself, in the bill system itself. It's one of the most famous, one of the most, the bill is a very big issue for a lot of people. During the time, that was before the Syrian refugees got, we had a lot of issues about the Syrian refugees. And then we had, do you remember that we had this 3-year-old Syrian refugee we saw who died at the beach?
Yes.
And it received a lot of attention to people nationwide, I mean internationally, and even in Korea. So there were like a lot of people like saying in their SNS that we should take Syrian refugees, especially the kids and all of those stuff. And I was thinking, it's actually basically the same thing. The bill that I was trying to push is actually for the government to actually take care of these kids that are here in Korea. 20 or 30,000. We don't even know the exact numbers because the government doesn't have any information about these kids, because basically they cannot even be registered.
Right,
So we don't have any idea about these kids who are actually growing with all our kids here in Korea.
So, what exactly, through this bill, what kinds of benefits are these children?
So basically, it's the main issue about it is one is the birth registration, because the people are looking at it as something like we're giving them nationality. So we clear that out by saying no, we're just registering them so that the government can have a basic number, basic count, and basic things to actually, and give them not a citizen's number, but actually just a number for the government to be able to manage these kids. Because some of them cannot actually go and be registered at school because they don't have numbers. Even the foreigners will actually the alien registration card number. The citizens will have the citizens number. These kids doesn't have anything. So basically, in Korea, if you don't have those numbers, you cannot actually be registered in any system or in any database.
Pretty much can't do anything.
Yes. So basically, that's the basic stuff. And one thing more is to protect the rights of the child of living, the right of the child to live with a parent. But it's not mandatory living with a parent. Even when your parent is undocumented, it's not mandatory. It is actually it should be approved by the Minister of Justice, which is really a very hard thing. But it's actually an existing law. So we didn't go against any of the existing laws. We're trying to put in the existing law into the said bill, so that it will not have any problems later on.
What comes to mind when you hear the term multiculturalism, or what is your definition of multiculturalism?
Actually, multiculturalism is a very, very good word, I think. It's a word that when we first, in Korea, it actually translates to tamunha, which is I don't really think there's a word called multiculturalism in other countries too.
Yes.
But it's not being connected to a particular sector of the society, like the multicultural family. No, now you don't have a multicultural family term in other countries. They actually just have, they are immigrants or they are migrants or they transfer, they moved from another country. The problem is it actually became a sort of a line that actually distinguishes between non-Koreans and Koreans. So non-Korean families with non-Korean members and families with just all 100% Korean members.
Right.
So it was especially when they actually begin to use the words multicultural family, multicultural second generation, multicultural third generation. It's like multicultural 1.5 generation. So it actually became a negative word on its own, even though when they first coined the term, it's supposed to be in a positive, it's supposed to be seen in a positive light. For me, multiculturalism is the 50 million people of Korea, because this is one country, and this is one country that we're supposed to share and live together. So I think a multicultural society might be a right term, but not a multicultural family.
All right. Now, this may not be a very easy answer, easy question to answer, but as you said, you've explained your thoughts on multiculturalism, but in honesty, on a 1 to 5 scale, how multicultural would you say that Korea is now, and how multicultural do you hope to see Korea in the near future?
Being one yourself, how do you see it? How do you arrange, how do you view Korea from 1 to 5?
Do you think there's a long way to go, or do you think it'll happen very soon?
Well, we're actually having migrant spouses being able to vote without even having their citizenship is actually a very, very big thing, because that's actually a big problem for the Japanese Koreans in Japan. So basically, we are very much forward. We are very, very, very much forward when it actually comes to multicultural policies. Now, according to one research, the adults actually answered that Korea is 51 point something percent. That is, it's embracing multiculturalism. Most of them accepting it as half, at least more than half. But the numbers for the younger generation is a lot higher. It's more than 60%. So we're looking at the good, I think, because the young people is actually the future generation. Right. So actually, I'm looking into something that it might be like, if you put it into a scale of 1 to 5, maybe I could give it a 3.5. And we definitely have a long way to go, a lot of better things to do. But of course, I've always thought that Korea Korea being, being a war-stricken country, being a war-torn country, and actually economically boosting right now, as it is right now, as the IT powerhouse that it is right now, I would actually think that we actually are very fast. We're moving in a very fast way. And sometimes if there is a problem that I think that I see, it's the mindset of the people. The mindset of the people is not as fast growing as the economy itself. So we need to actually work on that more.
As you mentioned, maybe to the older generation, multiculturalism itself could be understood or seen as a very sensitive or emotional matter.
Yes.
But maybe not so much to the younger generation. But how do you think that multiculturalism should be viewed, or if there are any changes, like simple changes people could make? Like what kind of mindset do you think people should have?
My first movie was entitled Uyeongjae in Korean. It's a Secret Reunion in English.
I see.
And it was my first movie, so I was very, very much excited to see if there are any news articles about the movie, because it's my first movie. And maybe my name would come up on the newspapers. I was searching for my name, and there wasn't anything about with my name in it. But there is one interview with the director of Uyeongjae, or the director of the Secret Reunion, and he talked about Tuiyan, and Tuiyan was the name of my character in the movie.
I see.
So basically, he talked about how he was so surprised during the monitor screening of the movie. I think it is the screening that you actually view with the professionals, with the staff, and with the investors before you do the final edit. He said he was so surprised of the response of the people when it comes to seeing what they saw in the movie. They said that they think that it is quite odd, that there's a lot of foreign people in a Korean movie. Yeah,
Something quite new.
Something quite new, but they actually told, and so what they did later on is they had a lot of close-up shots of me that they have to actually change it to shots that's a lot farther than the closer one. So he was quite surprised because, you know, in movies, and I was quite surprised, in movies you can have monsters, predators, and aliens, and all of those stuff. So
You can have any character.
Yeah, so it was like, why would it be odd to have a foreigner in a Korean movie? Well, they think there's too much. So basically, I think it's the experience that I actually got. But so I thought I was so disappointed. But a year after that, another movie entitled Panga Panga came out, just a few months after that, and it's a blockbuster hit. So I think it's sort of, we're just moving forward. We're moving forward slowly, as people might feel it as it's slowly. But you know, when looking at the a few months difference between Secret Reunion and Panga Panga, and how it is actually how the people actually a lot of people watched Panga Panga, and then a few months after that, Wandugi was out, and it was also a blockbuster hit. And it actually, you can see how fast people, a lot of people was interviewed, and they said when they watched Wandugi, they had to think back of what they think of multiculturalism, and actually try to picture themselves in a multicultural society. So I think it's in a span of 2 years, you have a lot of changes, and a lot of people has been, you know, changing their views. So I think it's going to be like that. We just need a lot of mediums, like movies or television, a lot of mediums to actually show people that, hey, this is not deadly, or this is not dangerous. This is a society where we can actually just learn to understand each other, and we can actually work this out. We have to go global. Korea is an export country, and we cannot close our doors. So as time goes by, more people will be coming in, more Korean people will be going out. So it's just going to be a natural cycle, a natural cycle for us. So I think we just have to have more mediums, and we just think that, as far as I know, I've been telling a lot of migrants, especially migrant wives, to go out there, mingle with a lot of Korean people.
I think that's one of the best ways
to get
to learn about each other.
You get used to these people.
Get comfortable with each other.
Seoul Women's Plaza, located in Daebangdong, Seoul. An event for the Global Community Association took place here. Let's find out what the association is for.
현장에서 여러 가지 활동하면서 느꼈던 점을 살려서 보다 더 나은 정책을 제안하기 위해 잔입하게 되었습니다.
Some migrant women were here along with National Assemblywoman Jasmine Lee. She was the founding member, so this place means a lot to her. After the event, Assemblywoman E offered a place where she could talk with migrant women, and their attendance was much higher than expected.
대학 진학률이 낮다는 거는 확실한 거고, 그래서 그 학원에도 못 가는 애들도 많이 있는 줄 압니다.
As a migrant woman herself, National Assemblywoman Jasmine Lee understands the hardships these women are experiencing.
베트남 분들은 나이 차이가 많잖아요. 그래서 남편분이 만약에 뭐 다른 나라보다 먼저 좀 가실 좀 확률이 높으니까 자립을 할 수 있도록 학력도 장학금 제도 같은 거를 조금 더 좀 해주시면.
Before heading to the National Assembly to bring forth their requests, she advises them to show solidarity.
이중 언어 성명서도 막 내고 이렇게 내시면, 그런 식으로 그런 조직력을 보여주시면 그게 무시를 못합니다.
정치인들은. 그래서 그 부분도 활동을 하면서 이렇게 글로벌 협회도 같은 경우는 활동을 하면서 생각을 해주시기 바란다는 그런 생각이 들었습니다.
Assemblywoman Lee represents some 810,000 people from other cultures. So what do migrant women have to say about her?
이렇게 저희들의 의견도 직접 듣지 않은 마음을 가지고 계신다는 게 너무 기뻤습니다.
다문화의 성의자라고 할 수 있고 또 저희들도 조금 이렇게 한국 사회에 많이 또 기여하고 싶고 뭔가 다문화 가정들이 좀 발전하는 모습을 보고 싶으니까 롤 모델이라고 할 수 있죠.
Migrant women gathering at one place reflects meaningful change in society. And National Assemblywoman Jasmine Lee's contribution brings a brighter future to multicultural Korea.
And moving over to this term, another term, I believe in Korean it's called the 첫 번째 penguin. The first penguin. The very first penguin. And what
Can
we
I
mean
be
by
the second so I can just push the
No, you're
first
the
one?
first. You're the first. So I'm trying to get to this point of how you are, called or known as the courageous first penguin. But first of all, first penguin that I'm referring to would be the very first penguin that dives into the sea among its crowd. So of course, this penguin has to be courageous, very
Or maybe
brave.
someone just actually pushed him
Maybe.
off the cliff. But yeah,
Maybe.
yes.
But I mean, I'm sure it must have been a very difficult decision for you. It couldn't have been easy for you. So how was it to live, or how is it to live as that first penguin, that courageous first penguin?
Being the first member of the assembly, who is not of Korean descent, it actually scares me to think that I might be the last. I have to do good with whatever it is that I'm doing right now. I have to have a lot of people appreciate what I've been doing, so that people will actually think that there could be more, that there will be a second Jasmine Lee, a third Jasmine Lee to come around. Now, if I actually have very negative reviews about from people, there will actually be no chance to have another Jasmine Lee in the future. And that is something that is a very, very heavy load for me. Though I know a lot of people has been telling me that why should I actually transform it? Why should you cross that street? What I mean about crossing the street is I used to work for a broadcasting company.
A major broadcasting,
a major TV network. And I received a lot of claps. I had lots of fans, and I received a lot of love when I do a lot of those shows in that station. And then I actually crossed the street to politics, and that all disappeared. So a lot of people actually ask me why would you actually cross the street when you actually had it better in this way? But I think someone has got to do it. I mean, the political part, it was offered to me twice. I was first offered in 2010 a seat for the Seoul City for the local council, and I had to turn it down because for me it wasn't about being in politics itself. It was about it was just a lot of activity for the immigrants' voices to be heard, for the immigrants to be seen that, hey, we're here. There are people like this in Korea, and we just want people to acknowledge that we're not invisible members of the society, but we're actually here to help society make better. So it's just actually trying to raise our voices. So I wasn't too much into the political side of it. But then in 2002, so I turned it down in 2010. In 2012, I actually got the offer again for the National Assembly. So one of my mentors told me that, well, opportunity comes but only once, and it came to you twice. So there must be a reason why. There must be a reason why you're offered it twice. So you think you should take it. So now I became another first penguin for me.
Are you happy that you are that courageous first penguin?
It's not a very, hopefully, courageous, but I'm happy with what I've been doing. Maybe not basically being the first penguin. I could have better assessment or better view of what it's going to be a member of the assembly if I was the second or the third penguin, because I can see what the first penguin did. But if given the choice, I would be the second penguin. But I am the first penguin, so I think But I'm happy. I'm happy enough for what I'm doing.
But weren't you scared even then? Weren't you hesitant?
Actually, I'm more scared about accepting it in 2012 than I was in 2010. I
but
could
yet
have
you said
accepted
yes.
it, but I said yes. First and foremost, I have my husband back then with me in 2010, which was offered to me. So I was thinking, you know, if worst comes to worst, at least I have my husband with me. And I have my husband with me, and I have my husband to take care of my kids or whatever it is that we need to take care of the family. Now in 2012, I don't have my husband with me. He left us in 2010. But I think it's a lot more scary. That's why I told you I would have actually given the choice to be the second penguin to push the first penguin, but I think it was scary. It was a scary move. But all I had with me is the thought that the main reason that I actually doing civic works is to make this society a better society for my kids. That's me as a mother. That's me
right,
talking
yes.
as a mother, because I know that if this society will be a better society for my kids, then it will be a better society for everyone, for all of the kids in Korea. So I started with that. I started with actually thinking that this might be a good opportunity for me to actually do whatever it is that I can do.
Overall, from what you've done, what have you achieved? What would be your biggest achievement?
I think it's actually, it's not even about being having law revisions or you know, all of those stuff. I think it's more so being here in the assembly, accepting the challenge to be here in the assembly is actually a big thing that a lot of people has been looking up to you. Has been looking up to me, and I think that gave a lot of migrant women the courage to actually go out and not be what multicultural families or migrant women is stereotyped in media. Most of the time we're stereotyped as people needing help, well, beneficiaries of welfare, but that, you know, you can go out there and do your thing and be a fruitful member of the society. So I think it's one of the biggest things that I think that I'm facing, and I think it also actually opened up a lot of what my works, the way that I talk, the way that I actually presented myself. It might have opened up a can of worms in Korea, sort of, because, you know, there's been a lot of negativities coming on in the internet, in the comments and all of those stuff. But still, the best thing about it is that people were like asking me, why are you reading all of those comments? Are you suicidal or what?
Right.
And I was like, no, I'm not suicidal. I'm reading all of these comments because I am the first. And I wanted to know what's the people's opinions or ideas of the things that I've been doing, and I wanted to know that. So it might hurt because there are a lot of negative things that's being said. It might hurt, but I think it's what the first penguin has to go through anyway, you know, to make it better for the second or the third or the fourth penguin. So looking at the comments, or looking at how people are commenting on the internet, I actually see a lot of changes. I actually see now a lot more positive comments, positive replies, positive things that's being said about me and about what it is that I'm doing. So I think I'm going in the right direction.
우리나라 이렇게 다문화라는 그런 이제 뭐 아이콘으로 등장하셔가지고 이제 다문화 쪽을 이제 대표하시면서 저랑 같이 이렇게 많은 일들을 하다 보니 뭐랄까, 저 역시 어떤 다문화 이쪽에 저도 뭔가 의원이만큼이나 뭔가 해야 되겠다.
국회에 딱 들어오고 나서 같이 일하면서 아, 될 사람이 됐구나라는 생각을 저도 같이 일하면서 알게 되었고 굉장히 우리나라가 앞으로 이민 국가나 아니면 다문화 사회에 있어서 굉장히 중심적인 역할 뭐 이런 거에 있어서 정말 필요한 인물이다라는 생각을 같이 일하면 할수록 그 확신이 좀 생긴다고나 할까 그렇습니다.
But now looking back into the past 4 years, I mean, what comes to your mind? What goes through your mind?
I think looking back on how scared and how careful I was in the beginning and how more courageous I am right now into pushing a lot of things. Since I was back at the beginning, I was more cautious into doing things because I don't want to cause a lot of trouble or a lot of noise. And all I wanted is to actually have a silent, because it's been a very noisy beginning and I had to have a silent life at the assembly. But later on I realized that, you know, it wouldn't do much of help for everyone else, especially for a Korea looking forward to a multicultural society, for me to just be quiet. And this mean the reason that I am here is to be the voice of all of these people. So basically I think it was a good start. It was a good trailblazing part, and I think it's a trailblazing that will actually is lighting the path for more to be courageous enough to be the first penguin or the second penguin for that is. And I'm seeing the changes in the Korean society. I'm seeing the changes in the policies, which actually ordinary people will actually not notice, but I've been seeing a lot of changes. When you're here inside, you hear a lot more information, and I'm seeing the changes in the society a lot more positive, in a lot more positive light.
If there is a word of advice you would like to give, I mean, if there happens to be second Jasmine Lee, what kind of advice would you like to give that person?
I actually want to change the question first. If there happens to be a second Jasmine Lee, no. What advice will you give the second Jasmine Lee? I think that will be a lot more positive.
Okay.
Yes,
definitely.
I think that's a lot more positive, and I believe that there's someone out there. I've been meeting a lot of these women who are actually training and actually dreaming of doing what I've been doing, and there's a lot of them who are very aggressive and very into. They're studying right now. A lot of them are actually looking at the possibilities of being where I am, and it's something that I actually want to tell them personally. Which is the thing that I actually tell a lot of these migrant women every time I meet them. Have the courage. Have the courage. Be self-confident, and believe me, it's okay to make mistakes.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I personally hope to see you right here at your desk for many, many, many more years.
Oh, thank you. Okay. That would be a lot more curses. But anyway.
But yes, thank you very much for your time. I know that you were very, very busy, and we wish you the best of luck in your future activities.
Thank you for coming over to the assembly.
Thank you very much.
So nice to meet you.
Thank you.